I've been tinkering around in Ableton for a long time now, and here are 10 features that you probably didn't know existed within Ableton. If you're new here, my name's Bo. I do Ableton live tutorials, bass music tutorials, really anything under the sun of music production. If you're a fan of the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. Let's get into it. Before we hop into the video, quick announcement for you guys. I recently dropped a super fire, complete start to finish music production course. It's designed to give you every single tool you're ever going to need to produce professional quality music in 30 days, either if you're totally brand new or if you've been producing for a while but you're just struggling to get your sound to the next level. It's over 17 hours of content distributed over 30 days of learning. We also have a super fire community where you can hop in and ask questions, free monthly sample packs, all kinds of cool stuff. Also, we've recently worked out a deal where if you sign up for the course, we can actually give you guys educational discounts on Ableton Live, FabFilter, Isotope, Sound Toys, Kilohertz, Arturia, and Output. So you could literally save thousands of dollars. And as of right now, the course is on sale, so it costs less than dinner. So definitely worth it, definitely worth checking out. Let's get into the video. The first feature we're gonna take a look at is called Split Stereo Pan Mode. So I didn't know about this one for years. It's a little bit sneaky. You gotta do some right clicking to get to it. But if we come over here to our panning options, so our pan options on the track, if we right click this, it's gonna give us an option that says select Split Stereo Pan Mode. And basically what this does is when you enable it, it allows you to control the left and the right channels individually, and it's what's known as true panning. So the easiest way for me to explain this is to show you an example with the utilities. So if we take this kick here, and we pan it all the way to the right, and we're gonna freeze and flatten this track. So we only have audio on the right channel here. Now, if we're in regular panning mode, and we pan this to the left, what it's doing is it's not actually panning things to the left, it's just deleting everything that's on the right side. So that's not considered true panning, where if we select split stereo pan mode, now we can actually pan this right channel individually to the left side. So this gives us a lot more flexibility control. Super cool underused feature in Ableton that I didn't know about for quite some time. Number 2 is not necessarily an Ableton feature, but it's a Max for Live device. With that being said, it's like my most used device of all time, and it's called Shortcut Buddy. It's by a company called Noir Labs. I'll link it in the description. Basically what it does is you save it on your default project. So I have mine saved on a return track, just so it's out of the way. You can save it anywhere. And this allows you to map any plugin to any quick key you want. Let me show you what I mean. So if I'm on a track here and I want an EQ, instead of coming over here and searching and finding it and doing all that, all I have to do is press E on my keyboard. It opens up an EQ8. Pro Q is P. This will open up a Pro Q. If I want to open up a new MIDI track and an instance of Serum, all I have to do is press 4, and it's going to do all that work for me. So little workarounds like this is going to save you a ton of time, especially when it's stuff that you use all the time. I use this like 1,000 times in each session for sure, just hitting quick keys. So this would probably be like my favorite Ableton hack of all time. And I've tried a couple different of like the shortcut applications. This one is by far my favorite. Number 3 is going to be Sidechain Gating. So this is a pretty unique one that I didn't know about for a long time. And basically the way it works is we can put a gate on an element, so on whatever it is, and we're going to have the same option we have on the compressor here, where we can open up this tab and it's going to give us side chaining options. Now you might be wondering, why would we want to use a gate for side chaining? I'm going to show you. So side chaining with a gate basically works opposite as sidechain compression works, where it's only going to let the sound in based on the signal of another track. So basically it allows us to make like an interesting layer and kind of add some more body to a sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our sidechain input from our synth loop here. And then what's going to happen is this white noise is only going to play when this synth loop gets to a certain volume level. So this is a really cool way to get some interesting layers, and you could also like copy the articulation of a melody and use it on a different instrument. So I think this is a really cool feature that's underused. Another pretty cool feature that I've been using quite a bit lately is if we're doing some automations here. So I'm gonna click our reverb, open up our automation lane, and if we highlight a certain amount of space, we can actually right click and insert shapes with automation. So let's say I want like a reverb ramp here. Instead of clicking and doing all this, I can just insert a shape, which is handy if you're doing a lot of different automations. Maybe we want like a nice sine wave kind of shape here. So that's a pretty cool kind of unique feature. So number 5 is going to be MIDI combined views. So this is a pretty interesting one that a student actually showed me. And that's, let's say we're working on a piece here, and let's say we have like a melody, a bass line and some chords or something like that. Now, if we want to make sure that these are all in sync on time and, you know, the groove is good and everything's in key, we could come in here and click on them and check them one at a time. However, if we click on one and then hold down Command and click on the rest, it's actually going to allow us to see them and edit them all in one MIDI editor. So in one piano roll, we can come in here and we can move stuff up or down. We can check timing. We can check everything. We can check to make sure everything's in key. So this is a super cool one as well. Now, this one's a lot more commonly known now, but this is a 12 update that's really cool, and that's the freeze and flatten button. So historically with Ableton, you'd have to freeze and flatten a track, so you'd have to like freeze and basically bake in all the processing and then come back and flatten it. Now in Ableton Live 12, they actually give us this in one button. So if we come over here to freeze and flatten, it's going to do all that in one button, which if you're doing this a lot in a session, can save you quite a bit of time. So that's a pretty cool little trick. This one's going to be really big for our bass guys, and this is called the 27 OTT Trick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab any drum, literally doesn't matter what it is. It can be a snare, a kick, a hi-hat. What we're going to do is we're going to put 27 OTTs on it. So I already have a rack for this, just called 27 OTTs. It's just 27 of these lined up. And what's going to happen is when we play this, it's going to push the snare through a super dramatic combination of expansion and compression and give us a really cool, unique glitch effect. And if we need variations of this, we can just pitch this up or down or change out the drum. And then from there, we would just select an audio track, input as resampling, arm it, and now we have our own unique, cool glitch sounds for breaks or whatever. This is a pretty cool kind of little workaround, and that's using AutoPan as an LFO. So AutoPan is exactly what it sounds like. It's a device made for auto-panning tracks and creating stereo effects and whatnot. However, if we turn this up and then we turn the rate all the way, or the phase all the way to the right, this is now going to work basically as a volume LFO. So you can get some pretty cool sounds out of that. And it's just a cool little shortcut for instead of automating a utility or penciling it in, you can just do it with an auto pan, and then you can adjust the rate for kind of like a cool stutter effect. Now this is a pretty cool little trick, and this is groove extraction. So groove, to summarize kind of what it is it's a combination of like shuffles, imperfection, volume adjustments that really gives like humanization and life to drums or synths or whatever you're working on. Now you can go in there and you can do these yourself by adjusting the velocity or grabbing something from the groove pool. But Ableton makes it so you can actually extract these elements and this characteristic off a audio sample or MIDI sample of your own. So John Casey, this is a producer I like quite a bit, and he does a lot of really interesting groove and shuffle kind of stuff in his loops. So what I can do is I can come in here and right click this and click extract groove. And what this is going to do is it's going to grab all those velocity adjustments and off-grid adjustments and timing and all that. Then it's going to consolidate it into a groove, which is then going to live in our groove pool. So this is a super cool, unique feature that's unique to Ableton, and I use it quite a bit. Now it's in our groove pool, and we can apply this to our own drum loops. So this last one, number 10, is a pretty cool trick that I kind of created, and that's using the randomization button on Ableton groups to create some original, organic, cool sound design completely from scratch. Basically, the way this one works is you take a bunch of different controls within this and you map them to macros in an Ableton group. So I choose ones that are going to create kind of a dramatic change. So like FM synthesis, wavetable position, obviously these modulators right here. And the way this works is any preset we're on, we can just hit random. Based off the preset, it's going to give us our own variation, completely unique. So as you can tell, we're using someone else's preset in their Logic, and we're basically randomizing it and looking for a cool sound. And now the sound is something that's totally unique to us. No one else has it. The best part is you don't need to know any sound design in order to... So I'll link my instance of this in the description for free. So there are 10 Ableton Live features that I feel like not a lot of people know about and they're sleeping on. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.